All right, I am excited because everybody knows we love doing international stuff. We love meeting people from around the world. We're missing travel so much right now, but this is going to be fun actually because it's the first leader who cares that cares so much about why laughter is important to us, and I love that for all sorts of reasons, which we'll get into. So first of all, Ms Suchi, welcome.
Thank you, Mark, for having me. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to be here having these discussions with you.
Thank you so much. So we got to get to know you a little bit first. So um, just tell us a tiny bit about who you are, and then we'll get into more conversation.
Okay. I'm a former principal of international preschools in Singapore, and I managed international preschools for many years. I reported into ministry, filing, administration, managing parents. After doing it for a very long time, I felt stagnant. I felt as if I'm not growing as a person. So I resigned. And it was a time when I left my mom. My mom died due to cancer 7 years back. And I had these changes in me where I started to think about my purpose of my life, my legacy and stuff. And I just gave up that job as a principal where you used to continue doing the same routine stuff every day. And I started to explore what's there for me. So I realized I have developed this interest in brain and hormones and laughter because I picked up some laughter exercises from a local coach. So I didn't want to stop there. So that's how this journey started. It started 7 years back when I didn't want to do the routine stuff and just where I don't see myself learning anything new. And I became the laughter coach.
And that's not even funny. That's real.
It's real and funny, and that life should be about that. It shouldn't be like you're faking. It should be real and fun.
So with respect to that, I always like to find out what's people's why or what's their purpose, whatever phrase you want to give it. And but instead of that, I like to ask people, so why do you do what you do?
Yeah, it's really important to know our why because there are many people on this earth they're walking around not knowing their why. As I mentioned that my mom left us 7 years back, and I had this kind of questions in my mind, like, why am I here for? Am I here to pay my bills and die? And those kind of questions started to pop up, and I realized that I am not just born to like go to school as a child, go to university, study, get married, have children, and then die without even doing something meaningful for the world. So that's where all these thoughts. I need to do something meaningful for others. I can't be just going to work, coming back, and just living that kind of routine life, like a robotic life. And and then all these changes started to happen in me. So I started to visit elderly homes, work as dormitories, hospitals, community clubs to talk to people, to spend time with them. And this is how it all started. And when my mother left me, I also felt depressed, low, and I felt like there's no one who understands me. I started to have suicidal thoughts. And that's where I also realized that there are many people in this world who feel the same as I do, but they don't have anyone to relate, to understand them, and to be there for them. So then I started to do that role for them after understanding how beautifully we are designed, how empowering it is to know that look, our brain is so fascinating organ, and our anatomy, overall energy levels is that. So I studied it first, and then I presented myself. Now I'm presenting myself to the world like, hey, come on, look, this is me. So that's my journey, and that's my why is to save lives, to be able to uplift spirits and spread this positive vibes around the globe, like to the darkest planet of the globe or of the earth where there is no light. So people read my post and hey, Miss Suji, we read your post and feel so uplifted. So that's my why. Thank you.
So it's interesting because leaders of companies and family offices, it's taken so long for them to realize that aligning themselves with making a difference, aligning themselves with social impact is actually good for business, and it's good for getting the best people to come work with them and develop them and whatnot. So you've had an epiphany, if you will, where you've been engaged in really the arena of well-being, you're really in well-being, and using it in a unique way though, which is laughter, and you're empowering people. So I've kind of given the answer myself, but what do you think most differentiates you as a leader who really does care?
Um, if we look at people like around us, most of them are not aware about how powerful we are designed. So the leaders are leading just like any other leaders by doing the routine stuff like, hey, you need to do this, you got to do this job, this and that. So somewhere I feel empathy is missing. So with my work, I not only empower people whom I work with and around the world, but I also um, coach them and guide them to lead with empathy. That's what I do.
Mhm.
So through laughter, you'll be very surprised, Mark, but I conduct 100 types of laughter exercises. So with each exercise, there's a motivational message behind it, and people are like, hey, come on, I feel so good after doing this. So leading with empathy, leading without judging people, leading where you really actively listening to people whom you work with, but not just because you want to answer what to answer. Yeah, so
Yeah, no,
it's so
that's
it's a
actually
tool. Yeah, I'm using laughter as a tool. Yeah.
yeah, it's actually great because there's a program that we recommend to clients. It's called Nonflict, and Nonflict is a way to resolve conflict where, like you said, you actively listen and you let the other person know that you really did hear them. You really did hear them. And one thing I was taught when I was a kid was making fun of yourself is actually a good thing. Deprecating, making fun of yourself is a good thing. Don't take yourself so seriously. And I
No
remember,
one else does.
who says, a lot of people said that. I remember my grandparents saying, though, they would say, and they were from Russia, so they had an accent, and they would say, as long as we have our health, that's the most important thing. And in the family, we used to laugh a lot, and that was, you felt better, right? You felt better. So the one thing I want to ask you is how this ties in, especially now. So you have technology is super fast. We have COVID-19, big pandemic. We have started here and now even around the world, the whole social justice. There's a lot of serious stuff going on. With what you do, the special thing that you do, which I love, with laughter, how do you view our ability to be aware when we're at work, when we're at home, when we're in the community? How do you think we're going to approach being aware of um, of where we are, how we're doing, how to be the best we can be?
Well, there's not much needs to be done when it comes to making changes in your lifestyles and routines. So we need to weave that in somewhere in our routines where we are doing it as a habit. So it's all about sitting down, connecting with yourself, and practicing mindfulness, and then working on your daily tasks with being aware. Because there are many people on this earth, I say this again and again, that they're walking on this earth not even being aware about, oh, they are going to be here for a very short time. What they are doing in exactly, like they're not going to be here permanently. It's a very short period. Then holding on grudges, like fighting, like looking down at others, belittling others, even not loving themselves. People don't practice self-care, self-love because they think it's like selfish or they feel guilty. Even when they are resting, they feel guilty about it. So where are you going then? If you're not practicing self-care, self-love, you're not aware about what's happening. Some of them are walking around like a volcano, like it's going to burst anytime, and there are a lot of bottled in emotions where they're not even aware about what's on their minds and stuff. So my job is to not only create awareness about stress management, laughter therapy, but I also do make people aware about emotional mastery, like how they can be always in control of their emotions so they can take better decisions. Of course, my works are about scientific background, like why am I saying what I'm saying, like hormones and like how our brain works. So I get people to understand and also experience. So I give them those experiences where like, oh, look, yes, now I can do a better job because I'm more aware of myself. Yeah. So this is so needed.
Do you one of my sons, I have three boys. One of my sons is an actor, and they would actually practice laughing.
Mhm.
And what's been found is, I believe, and I'd like you to verify this if you would, that even if you fake laughing, it still makes you feel better.
Well, scientifically, it's proven that people who are feeling sad, low, and depressed, like I have saved 26 people who are having suicidal thoughts. So it's proven that even if you fake laughter, if you don't feel like you're not really happy in your real life, and you just fake laughter for 15 to 20 minutes, and you practice belly laughter, your brain will start to release happy hormones. The brain will not know the difference between real and fake laughter. It would still release happy hormones. So this is very empowering. But even if you are not happy about the things in your life, you practice laughter, belly laughter for 15 to 20 minutes to get the dosage of happy hormones.
So it's part of your your exercise basically during the day. And it's amazing that actually, it's amazing and wonderful that actually works. And I'm thinking, do you do some of your coaching for corporate employees, corporate as well? So I'm interested to know how you feel. This is about leaders who care. So leaders who care, they care about the well-being of their people, their employees. They care about their financial well-being, they care about their physical well-being, and their mental well-being. Um, Share with me, when you're coaching within companies, um, what role you think the leaders of those companies have to play to ensure that the people do feel that they're cared for, they do, and how it impacts their families by being that way at work, and then how it also gets down into the community.
There is very little or no awareness about laughter can be used as a tool. So when I started to work with corporates, I was seen as like just like a clown or somebody who, oh, it's just gonna, oh, never mind, we don't need your services because we can always watch a comedy and laugh. Then I was like not bothered about people who were not really understanding my work. So I started to speak at conferences, and where my work was appreciated and accepted. So that's how I started. But I'm someone who doesn't give up easily. Like, I'm very resilient, so I'll continue to create awareness. And of course, there were places where people really understood the need of how they can simply make some changes in their even work environment and routines, where they can bring that in, like this tool as laughter as a tool, build that in, and then really understand. We had some exercises where leaders need to practice active listening when they realize that, oh, look, I was not even listening actively and empathetically. So all these exercises were given, and when they practiced it, they realized that, oh, look, this is really needed, and then I was welcomed.
Do you find how it's accepted differently um, in different industries, or for that matter, even in different countries?
Agrees, yeah. There is so much difference in how the leaders lead. Like I look around. So I'm very blessed to be a Singaporean, and leaders here are really there. I mean, you know how the COVID-19 situation, how leaders of Singapore managed it very effectively. So I have no complaints about them, and they're leading empathetically for sure. And
Um,
yes, there is a difference. How we look around, there are so many examples of leaders who are not uh, leading the way they should be. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, no, I get that. So with everything going on now, and what you're coaching people on, do you see this moment in time as an opportunity to make real dramatic change in how we are and how we engage with each other?
Yes, I do my part by using social media as a tool, using technology as a for my benefit, not being its slave. You do it every single day. Like right now, when this video goes, it will surely have a positive impact on thousands of people. So there's another podcast interview of evening, and then if my social media presence itself is creating that positive wave where people like, oh, look, I don't need to feel sad or depressed, I don't need to look down at myself. And the leaders are also getting that kind of vibes where like, hey, look, I can be a better leader when I learn how to have total control of myself so that I can lead others better. Yeah. So of course, yes, I see this as an opportunity, and I'm also using it. I'm already using it to make a difference. Yeah.
So do you prefer telling jokes or telling funny stories?
No, really, it's not about that. So as I mentioned, it's very scientific. So I get people to first understand what laughter therapy is, and I picked up some exercises locally, and I was not just happy with people going to the park, coming back and shouting at their family members and not being able to manage their routines and their work. So I went further, dived deep into brain, like how it works. So my work's all about creating awareness about happy hormones and stress hormones and what can be done. So it's not about only I'm me telling jokes. No, I don't tell jokes. So I mentioned I'm not a comedian. I'm not a clown. Like I'm not. So I get people to practice and then experience the changes in their anatomy. So my works are about creating awareness about body chemistry, cell chemistry, brain chemistry. There's so much science behind it.
So last question in this part. If I was pretending to be a high school or even college graduate right now, and things are a little bit crazy out there, type of thing, but I want to make sure that my well-being is good, and I don't even know where my future is going right now. What advice would you give me?
I would like you to believe in yourself and your existence and believe that you are worth it. You are enough. So it all starts from there. Once a person starts to see himself or herself as worthy, because there are many people out there who are questioning their existence right now. Like they are already thinking of quitting. So I would like you to know that, Mark, you are worth it. Your existence on this planet is needed. And of course, then I will give some tools, provide the person with some tools to how to feel good about yourself every single day and every moment of the day. Yeah.
Good advice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.